Okay, this energy we're going to dive into has something to do with transformation, um, the speeding up of things, a little bit of outside energy that's in denial that may be coming for your looks. Just keep in mind that if people are insulting your looks, picking at insecurities when it comes to your looks, that means that they don't have a ground to stand on when it comes to whatever they're doing or saying. People that have to resort to insulting somebody and picking somebody apart, they do it because they know that if they talked about the real reason that they didn't like someone or the real reason that they were going against someone, people would see the truth of them. Okay. There is something about a witch wound as well, becoming more comfortable in your element and your gifts and what you do. Just keep in mind that magic is nothing more than working with energy, okay? And praying is working with energy, asking for manipulation of energy, things to be moved around. Manifesting is working with energy. It's all just energy work. It's all just working with energy. And these people that are in denial, that are on the outskirts, they may be using archetypes like the witch to back up their stance. 202 may be significant, 555 may be significant. So it's almost like knowing that there's a stigma around witches or people who are similar to the witch archetype. They would be using that to cause fear, to villainize, to do that type of thing, okay? Black bunnies are significant. The spiral symbol is significant. Something happening in the early morning before the sun up. So dawn, with that was coming breaking dawn and twilight. But the real message with twilight for me, for this message, is shifting into it not being about outside people, it not being about others, it being about you choosing you and what is really aligned with you, what feels the most aligned for you to stand in, and becoming that, embodying that. No longer feeling out of your element, no longer feeling like you don't belong. And I'm not talking about with others. I'm talking about in your own skin, in your own energy. With the Black Bunny, intuition, heightened energetic radar, access to the mysteries of the unknown. Also could be messenger from past over loved ones or ancestors. The spiral is personal transformation, the connection between the inner world and source, growth, progression. So there is some kind of evolving going. Outer circle. The people that are in denial and trying to pick apart looks and hit insecurities and using things like words and titles, archetypes that have stigmas attached to them, they may be upset because they've been kicked out of your circles. They're not in the inner circle, and this came in reverse. They're not even in your outer circle. They have to lurk from the shadows. They're in denial not because they can't see the truth or reality, but because they refuse to see it. Because if they saw it, it would highlight the fact that they're not actually doing the work. And these may be people that pretended like they were or pretending like they are. Also, something is becoming very obvious and shocking, not only to you, but to others around you that are witnessing it. So this transformation, I said in, I think, yesterday's reading, that it was becoming tangible. The efforts and the results were becoming tangible, not something that just you were able to see. It was becoming very obvious to others, the results of the inner work that you've done. So it could be something like that as well. All right, Source, what else do you have about this energy? Also, reframing or stopping cycles that started in early childhood and creating a different cycle for your lineage. Okay, first house and 12th house. That's spiritual, hidden, subconscious. First house is you, your identity, but it's also giving stop and start. This is the start of the zodiac signs, this or the houses, and the stop of the houses, the first and the last. And then we've got Aquarius, which is giving do it your own way, and then the Sun. Act like a leader, realize and demonstrate. So you may have put an end to something that started in early childhood, a cycle that started in early childhood. You may also have completed something. You've gone full circle with something. And there's the spiral. We were talking about that as a sign. Thank you, Source, for bringing that out for confirmation. I like when that happens. This could also be your soul journey that's coming full circle. And not that it's the end of your soul journey, but it may be the end of a portion of it. You may have reached a point, not the, but a point of no return where a cycle is completely closed off and there's no going back. There's no access. Just got access denied. We've got inner circle. This transformation may be transforming who and what is around you, who and what has access to you. Outer circle for me is like acquaintances, people that know you but aren't real close to you. Inner circles like your close friends, the close connections that you have, romantic, familial. We also have family connection coming out. So some of these people that are in denial, they may be family connections. They may be connections that are in your outer circle. They may be connections that used to be in your inner circle. I would hope that you don't have people in your inner circle that are in denial about your transformation. If you do, there's an awareness that needs to probably take place and a removal, because if they are avoiding the truth of your transformation, that's going to become very just put a card in this deck that's the green eyes for jealousy, envy. That's going to spark very backhanded, closeted competition energy. The way that you show up in your inner circle, outer circle, and family connections may be transforming as well. South Node and 6th house, moving out of the Peaceful Among Thorns, Queen of My World, and Parasite. Oof. Moving out of the lessons that came along with daily life and routines. And then we have Peaceful Among Thorns, Queen of My World, and Parasite. So maintaining your energy amongst other energies that are like prickly, okay? Keeping yourself as the main focus, even when there are parasites around. Now, I will say that if you've got parasitic energy around you in your inner circle, in your outer circle, in your family connection, there's a need to assess whether it is beneficial to your forward movement to have them in those places, okay? In your outer circle and family connections, you can't really get away from that. If they're acquaintances that you bump into, you know, in the community, if they're acquaintances that you bump into in the workplace, there's not really a lot you can do to remove them. If they're family connections, there's not really a lot that you can do to remove them other than removing yourself from the connection, which I truly believe if you have family that are parasitic, there is a need to remove yourself from that connection because they're just going to feed on you, okay? And those may be the connections, the parasitic ones. Those may be the ones that are in denial. Because again, if they are honest and truthful about the work that you've put in and the transformation that you have cultivated, and that is becoming tangible in your life, then it shows who they actually are. Okay. Done here. Let's go here. The inner circle, outer circle, and family connections are giving very much who and what is around you. So third house. The I am, who you are, your identity may be also shifting. 1122 on the timer. You may be becoming even more authentic in your energy and demonstrating by action who you actually are and showing up as that. All right, give me more about this inner circle, outer circle, and family connection, please. The people, the energies that are sitting in denial, this gives very much the energy of they have a problem, they see the problem, they don't like the problem, but they don't do anything to fix it. Okay? So this is like not liking the way that you look, but not changing anything so that you feel better about the way that you look. Okay? Not liking the way that you react, but not doing anything to change the way that you react. Seven of Pentacles reversed for inner circle, outer circle, and family connections. It feels like there's a stop to connections of all kinds that they weren't putting in the effort in the connection. Because Seven of Pentacles in reverse is not nurturing what they're that's a plant, right? That's the not nurturing the plant, not nurturing the connection. So things have come full circle. It's at the end of the cycle of having connections with people because of the personal transformation that you are going through. There's an end to connections, an expiration of connections that we're not pouring back in, that we're not nurturing the connection like you were. You can't have a connection where only you're nurturing it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all of those people are bad people or they're in denial or anything like that. I had a connection in 2023, I cut it off, I think. And there was nothing inherently bad about this person. There was nothing, like, we didn't really clash paths or anything like that. But I noticed that it was not a reciprocal connection. When we talked, it was because I reached out. When we had communications and it was me, it was if I didn't reach out, we wouldn't have talked. So it's giving that. It's giving I'm not continuing to pour into people that don't nurture the connection as well. And this may be shocking to people especially if you are or were a people pleaser or a codependent, and you were always the one that you would come back in and try to fix it. You would come back in and repair it, even if you're not the reason or the cause of the crumbling in the first place, and you're not doing that anymore. You're realizing when you need to stop putting your energy into things. 3 of Cups reversed. You're realizing when the betrayal and the backstabbing energy is not, it's just not conducive to the growth, to the personal growth cycle that you are on. And you're not reuniting with that. You're saying, that's it. I've had enough. You have shown me over the course of a long period of time that you don't value me. You don't really care. Like, you could take me or leave me. So thank you. I've realized that. I'll let you leave me, and I'll go around people that don't tolerate me. They don't just, figure out how to be around me when they have to. I'm going to go around people that celebrate me, that put in the same effort that I put in, where we're celebrating each other instead of feeling like I'm pulling teeth to get you to show up for me. There's no more of that. 7 and 3 is 10. That's the closing of a cycle. You've reached a place in self-value, in self-worth, where you realize this is not, this doesn't feel good. This is not healthy. This is not emotionally healthy. This is not mentally healthy, and not partaking in it anymore. It's not emotionally safe. If you feel like you have to guard yourself emotionally, and you have to put up all of these like strict boundaries, and you have to move in certain ways to protect your emotions, that person is not safe for you. No matter how much you like them, no matter how much you guys can get along in the moment, if they're not emotionally safe for you, they're not somebody you should be around. If you can't be vulnerable, if you can't get emotional support because they just tell you to get over it, move on, stop talking about it, they're not the person for you. And I'm not talking about the people that continue to talk about the problem that they have while doing nothing to fix it. That's different. People who talk about the same problem but do nothing to fix it, they're doing that to feed on you, and they want your attention, they want your energy. I'm talking about people that are actually putting in the effort to grow, change, and heal, and the person that you're interacting with is telling you to get over it, just move on, just stop talking about it, just ignore it, basically. Those people are not emotionally safe for you. And if somebody is not emotionally safe for you, they're not safe for you at all. Okay? That doesn't make them a bad person. That just means that you guys aren't aligned. And you can continue to try to force things, or you can realize, hey, maybe I'm a gallon person and I need to be around and interact with people who are also gallon people. Because if you interact with somebody who's a pint person, no matter if they pour into you, you're not going to fill this up. Pour all of this into this, you're not going to fill it up. Okay? You're not going to make a dent. You're going to maybe get to here, right? So there's always going to be this difference in how you're able to show up for people. And that's not saying that pine people are bad people. It's just saying you're not aligned. Now, try to pour this into here. You can't even pour half of that cup into here before it's overflowing and it's overwhelming, because there's more capacity in a gallon person. I know these are not gallons and pints. I'm just using it as the analogy that's already out there. Okay. So the gallon person is going to be overwhelming for the pint person because they're not aligned. It doesn't mean that the gallon person is extra or too much or over the top or any of those things. No, it just means that they have a bigger capacity for emotion, and that's what they pour into it. And pint people don't. Mainly because pint people aren't doing the work, because your capacity for energy, for love, for all of that stuff grows as you emotionally grow. You don't emotionally grow if you're staying on the surface of things and you're in denial and you're ignoring what's actually going on. In order to go from a pint person to a gallon person, you have to expand your emotional depths. That means you've got to dive into those shadows. You've got to get comfortable with emotions and dealing with emotions and raising your emotional intelligence. All right. So we've got the Hanged Man in reverse. The Worlds. We've been talking about the start and the stop, right? The end of it. You, collective, have successfully transformed to the place where you're not stuck anymore. You've gained a new perspective. You've moved out of that, and you're closing the cycles that are no longer aligned with you. You're closing the cycles that are aligned with who you used to be. You're not that person anymore. You're grateful for that person. Thank you, 2002 on the timer. Thank you to that person for showing up, for having the strength to get through, for having the ability, the capacity to get us to this point. But you're not needed anymore. You can rest. The new version is here. We're closing out that cycle. We're going through the threshold. We're going through the portal. We're getting a new way of being because we've changed our perspective, because we've been healing with the Three of Swords in reverse, because we've been healing, because we took that head over heart action and moved out of betrayals, moved out of things that were hurting our heart, and put the logic in front of the emotion and closed those cycles. We've put down the burdens that weren't ours to carry. The burdens of the betrayals, the burdens of the heartache, the burdens of connections with people like this, that backstab, that betray, that cheat, that don't equally pour in. We closed those cycles. We healed them, and we said, oh, this is not really mine. 10 of Wands reversed. This is not really mine to carry. I'm going to give you this back. Who you are, how you show up, that's not mine to carry. I'm going to give it back. I'm going to heal what damage happened to me in this connection, and I'm going to give you back what's yours. I don't need to carry what's yours. You don't need to carry how rotten somebody is, how rotten somebody treated you. You don't need to carry that. That's theirs to carry. They acted on that. The only thing that you have to carry is the damage that it did internally and heal that. Once you are healing that, you don't have to carry what they did. You don't have to carry it anymore. Because you turn it into the lesson. Oh, they were allowed to treat me like that because I made excuses for them. Oh, they were allowed to treat me like that because I had poor boundaries. I was never taught boundaries. Oh, they were allowed to treat me like that because I overlooked the red flags. Maybe I was wearing rose-colored glasses and all of the flags looked pretty pink. The video flips it. This is beautiful energy. You've said enough. You said, I'm not doing this anymore. And you've moved out of it. And you've said, if you're not safe for my emotional body, you're not safe for me at all. And I would rather walk alone than walk with people that I have to protect my emotional body from. When you continue to be around people that you have to protect your emotions from, you are on high alert. You are in survival mode. That's not healthy. That raises your cortisol and everything else. And a lot of those people, Page of Cups and the Moon, will hide behind the innocence that you walk in. The energy that appears to be naive, but it's not actually naive. Okay? Because you walk with your inner child leading the way. You don't walk in with a jaded view on things. You walk in with a curious inner child's exploration type of mind space. 111 could be significant. 727. 222 also. Okay. One more shuffle and then Source, can we close? You may have an aligned emotional offer coming in. That doesn't have to be romantic if you are anti-romance. But it is some kind of emotional. So friendship, something of that sort. Yeah, you've removed yourself. You've freed yourself of the mental imprisonment that people who are not grounded, people who are selfish, that's the Queen of Pentacles reversed, people who are greedy, people who are focused on their gain at the expense of others, you've removed yourself from the mental prison that people like that put you in. Ooh, Eight of Wands. Fast acting energy. Four of Pentacles. You are absolutely holding your energy, your world away from... These people could also be watching on the internet. You're absolutely holding your energy, your world away from people that you had to gain a new perspective about because they continued to move in the same way. It's like at some point you realize, I can't keep on making it. How many excuses am I going to make for their behavior? And I'm the one that keeps on getting the short end of the stick here because I keep making those excuses. This feels like a cleanup of all connections in your life. A purging of everything that doesn't belong. A purging of people who pretended to be for you while misleading you, misguiding you, giving you faulty information purposefully, and ganging up with others, talking crap behind your back, planning your destruction and your downfall with others, while pretending to be your friend and smiling in your face. Yeah, you're moving in. There's been a lot of new start energy. A lot of new start. Five of Swords in reverse. These people that thought that they were going to win at all cost by focusing on destroying another, they are not getting what they thought that they were getting. And collective, you're moving into a new start. Independence, standing on your own. You're moving into a new start. In the past, the connections that you've cut, they are sitting in disharmony and destruction. It's being seen why there was a separation, why y'all are no longer connected to each other. It's being seen that they don't have mastery over self or mastery over whatever they've been pretending to do. The past is being seen for who they actually are. The Wheel of Fortune reverse. They may be having bad luck, misfortune. It's being seen who the past really is. People who cause disharmony and disconnect and conflict with people. There are people who are not a mastery of self. They do not have control of their inner world, so they have to try to control everyone and everything around them. They do not have luck's favor. They are not on destiny's path. They do not have serendipitous things aligning for them because they sit in this energy, and instead of working on themselves, they betray others and they gang up, they gather others. And it's never a fair fight. It's never, let's this group go after that group. It's never that. It's, I'm going to gather a group to go after one person that most of the time has walked away. The truth about these past people is being seen. They aren't who they said they are. And what's also being seen, collective, is that you move from love. You have choices because you move with integrity and love. You move in a way of mastering self, mastering what you work on. You're not just talking out the side of your neck. You're actually speaking from experience and truth and knowledge that you have gained through that experience. And it's being seen, collective, that this new start that you're moving into is aligned and destined and is not luck. It is the tangible proof, the tangible results of all of the work that you continued to put in. You are aligned. I thought the North Node was out here. You're aligned. You're on your North Node path. People who were left in the past because of how they showed up, because they refused to reciprocate and put energy in, they refused to nurture the connection. They chose to stand in betrayal energy and gathering groups and gossiping and slandering and all of that. they're going to just have to sit and watch. What does it say? They will make your enemies. I don't really think anybody's really your enemy. They just see themselves or want to be. The ones who went against you will become your footstool. The ones who went against you will have a front row seat to your success. It's giving that, okay? They're having a front row seat to your independence, to you standing strong and sturdy on your own. Not reliant on somebody else, not searching for somebody else to pick you up and carry you, but walking on your own, doing something that they said you never could. They may have even called you, collective, a gold digger. They're just out here looking for somebody to take care of them. They're just after money. They're just after somebody to do it for them. And here you are doing the work behind the scenes. Now you're standing on your own. You've done it on your own. You've overcome and exposed the deceit, the lies, the cheating, the group efforts by standing on your own and putting in that real work. You didn't have to say a word about anybody. It exposed. The truth always comes to the surface when you're moving with integrity and you're aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. Congratulations, collective. There's a lot of new starts, new energy, fresh energy, turning of tables coming in for those that have genuinely put in the work. And if you're watching these videos and you're not genuinely putting in the work, it's not too late, but you've got to actually put in the work. Like, the days of you being able to piggyback or ride on somebody else's coattails to get there, that's falling to the wayside. And the days of other people stepping in and saving you and fixing everything for you while you continue to be the same type of person, that also is falling to the wayside. So for those that were left in the past for their behavior, it's probably time to get to work. For the rest of you, collective, again, congratulations. Happy healing.